All right, our vocabulary word today is conversion factor, and a conversion factor is a fraction whose numerator and denominator represent the same quantity but use different units. One example of that might be like 1 foot and 12 inches. Okay, they use different units because one of them uses inches and one of them obviously uses feet. Okay. Or there's a bunch. I mean, you could use minutes and seconds, anything that we use to convert. Will have a conversion factor. Okay. And today we're going to be talking about how to use those conversion factors to actually, well, convert. All right, let's take a look at our first slide here. It says the process of converting from one unit to another is called dimensional analysis or unit analysis. To convert units, multiply by one or more ratios of equal quantities called conversion factors. For example, to convert inches to feet, you would use the ratio below as a conversion factor. Yes, write this down in your notes. That's what it's up here for. Yes, all of it. It's not that much, I promise. And you do have an example of that conversion factor right, or a conversion factor underneath there. 1 foot over 12 inches. Okay, 1 foot is 12 inches, and 12 inches is 1 foot. That's why they are the same. Well, just because you know that 1 foot equals 12 inches doesn't necessarily mean that everybody knows that 1 foot equals 12 inches. But that's not really what we're going for here. I don't necessarily need you to know that 1 foot equals 12 inches per se. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be figuring out how many inches might be in 483 feet or something like that. And it's a lot of inches, yes. But that's what we're going to be working on, not necessarily 1 foot equals 12 inches. I mean, I gave you guys a conversion chart that tells you all of, your conversion factors. But we're going to be working on converting bigger things. And also how to write it. How we write it is important also, and you'll see that here in just a moment. It's glue. I filled up all the glue bottles yesterday, and your desk happened to get glue all over it. Sorry. All right, let's take a look at our next slide. I'll come back to it if you're not finished. Just leave a little bit of space. All right. Caution. It says, be sure to put the units you are converting to in the numerator and the units you are converting from in the denominator. Now, you don't have to write this whole thing down, although make a note about something, maybe converting to goes on top. Like if I wanted you, say, to convert something to inches, you would put inches on top, and let's say you were converting from feet, then the feet would go on the bottom. Okay? And we're converting from goes on the bottom. Well, if you were converting feet to inches, you want to convert 2 inches, right? No, because you're converting 2 inches. You're converting your feet. You're going from feet to inches, right? Like, ask me the question like what you're talking about. Give me an example. Yeah, well, I mean, what if you were converting from miles to feet? Or what if you were converting from inches to feet? That's possible also. Yeah. You could put inches on top if you were converting 2 inches. Like if I said you have 5,280 inches, how many feet is that? Well, you're going from inches to feet. So in that one, the feet would go on top and the inches would go on bottom. So yeah, it just depends on what you're converting to and what you're converting from. But make note of this right here. You don't have to copy this whole thing down in your notes, but I certainly would say this down right here, because on your homework this evening, if you do not put the units you're converting to on the top, you're going to get it wrong. Okay, even though the numbers might be the same. Okay, so be careful of that. Let's take a look at our example. It says, find the appropriate factor for each conversion. Feet to yards. It says there are 3 feet in 1 yard. To convert feet to yards, multiply the number of feet by 1 yard equals 3 feet. This is what your conversion factor would be. Okay? Now on this, what do I want to see on your notes? You could put feet to yards and our conversion factor right there. Okay? I would be okay with that if you didn't copy that whole thing down, because those are the 2 important things that I want you to get out of this. Okay? Notice, we're going from feet to yards. Again, the converting to has to be on top. My 1 yard goes on top. My converting from goes on bottom, the 3 feet. Okay? So pay close attention to that. Again, pounds to ounces. Says there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. To convert pounds to ounces, multiply the number of pounds by, and it gives us our fraction right here. Again, we're converting from pounds to ounces. So, again, we're converting 2 ounces, has to go on top, pounds on the bottom. Okay? Those are important things that I need you to take from this slide. All right? Let's take a look at our next one. Again, more of the same thing. From minutes to seconds, you notice what we're converting to is on top, what we're converting from is on bottom. Same way with letter B. Hours to days. What we're converting from is on bottom, what we're converting to is on top. Now, why is this important? Because whenever we are doing these conversions, I'm going to set them up as a proportion. So you can, well, see exactly what we do. In most cases, you're just going to multiply or divide, but the placement of the number is important. All right, let's take a look at our next one. It says the average American uses 580 pounds of paper per year. Find the number of pounds of paper the average American uses per month to the nearest 10. Okay? Now on this one, let's go through it and I'll figure out if you need to write any of this down or just pay attention. Okay? It says the problem gives you a ratio of 580 pounds to 1 year and asks for an answer in pounds per month. Okay? So we know that we have 580 pounds in 1 year. It tells us that. Now, we have to figure the conversion factor. We're going to multiply that times. Well, what are we converting to and what are we converting from? We're converting from years to months, right? Okay? So, that's how we come up with this conversion factor right there. Then, they basically multiply straight across because that's how we multiply fractions. Obviously, 580 times 1 is 580. 1 times 12 is 12. So you end up with a fraction like this. So what does a fraction bar mean? Yeah, it means divide. So from there, we know that we have to divide 580 divided by 12, which gives us 48.3 pounds per month. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Okay, and again, most of you guys, some of this work looks confusing because in the past you said, well, 580 pounds per year, I know that there's 12 months in a year, why don't I just divide 580 by 12? Well, that's essentially what we did. yeah, there was a few more steps involved, and the reason why I showed it to you this way is because in the future, whenever we have big problems, it's important to do it this way. Okay? Let's take a look at, oh, that was our last one. That's good. But that's all there is to it. Okay? Does that make sense? Parkson, what you got? I can get those for you. Now, on your homework, especially on the top three, okay, it says find the appropriate factor for each conversion. Remember, what goes on top, the to or the from? Okay, so on number one, when it says grams to kilograms, where is kilograms going to go and where is grams going to go? That's right, because we're converting to kilograms. So make sure you have your kilograms number on top and your grams number on bottom. Okay? You just put, that's what you have to come up with. You have to tell me the conversion factor. Now, again, you should have those charts in your spirals. So if you don't know how many grams are in a kilogram, which is 1,000, by the way, use your charts, and that should give you the answer. All right. Get to work.